The tide has rolled in here in Alabama. That is the Crimson Tide of women's gymnastics. This team is ranked 4th in the nation. And a crowd of more than 15,000 fans, a complete sellout, are here to help them try to roll to victory tonight against another top 10 team, the Lady Gymbacks of Arkansas. And if you know anything about gymnastics in the SEC, you know both of these teams will pull out all the stops to win.
I think that the biggest thing I'll tell them is that I hope that they can close their eyes, hear the sounds, open their eyes, and see the fans that are there. And then I want them to say a little prayer that we've done something to change someone's life.
You know, we really look at this opportunity to compete in front of all these fans as a really exciting challenge. You know, it's something we're not fearful of or intimidated with, but something we use as positive energy to really enjoy our experience out there.
We welcome you to Coleman Coliseum on the campus of the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa for this SEC duel between the Crimson Tide of Alabama and the visiting Arkansas Gymbacks. But tonight in Crimson Country, the primary color is pink, as in the power of pink, as we join in the fight against breast cancer and increasing awareness. Todd Harris along with Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson-Clark. Kathy, the SEC is loaded, we know that, but just how good is Alabama?
Wow. This is a program that has been to the national championships 25 consecutive times. They finished in the top 4, an NCAA best 21 times. What a consistent program. Now last year they only finished 9th. They had a very, very young team, but they've come a long way this year. In fact, their last competition was against the #1 ranked team in the country, Georgia. They lost by 0.6 points, but they're right in there.
And if you're Arkansas, this is a prime opportunity to do something special. So the home team, Alabama Crimson Tide, will start on the vault. Arkansas will start on the uneven bars.
I mentioned Alabama competed against Georgia in their last competition. It was on this event that the scores were really funky, according to the coaches. They were very low, and they had to talk to the kids and say, you've got to get pumped up. Do not worry about the scores. Hit your vaults. Make these landings.
This is Brittany McGee, the junior from Arlington, Texas, who will start things off for us tonight here in Tuscaloosa.
And this is always a critical gymnast. The first one out, you really want to hit a big one. It's a nice high vault, not a perfectly stuck landing. That's something you really want to do early in the rotation so that you can rally your team behind you.
Momentum a huge key tonight in a near sellout Coleman Coliseum. Amy DiFilippo will be the first competitor on the uneven bars for Arkansas.
Arkansas is ranked 10th in the country, 12th on this event. They really want to try and hit these handstands. The judges are looking for all of the moves to go through that vertical position, really show it off right there. Nice handstand. She has little bitty form breaks throughout the routine, but nothing major. Needs a stuck landing here to get things started. All right, not bad. They don't have the huge tricks that some of the top teams in the country have, but they hit the routines.
Caitlin White back to the vault for Alabama, hometown of Allen, Texas.
Another Yurchenko fold, not quite as high as the other vault and a little bit off center, meaning she didn't land directly behind the horse. Those will be slight deductions, and we haven't quite seen a stuck landing yet in this competition.
Now on bars, this is Samantha Cortez, the 5'3" senior from Verona, New Jersey.
Oh. Too bad. And she really missed that handstand in the full pirouette, had not finished the pirouetting move in the handstand. And unfortunately, that's 0.5 points off for the fall. Notice there she wasn't in the handstand position and just really not in a position to catch her release move. Now keep in mind, In gymnastics, you drop the lowest score,
Right.
you add the other 5, so they can drop this score, but a little bit of pressure now on the rest of the rotation. And unfortunately, they're not fulfilling their one goal of hitting every single routine. They really want to try to get through competition with no falls.
Next up on the vault for Alabama, this is Casey Overton, the 5'2" sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia. We want to mention that Brittany McGee of Alabama had a 9.825 on the vault, a season high for her.
Good, nice vault.
And that's exactly what the Crimson Tide needed. Will the momentum continue? Stick around and find out.
Tonight is our 4th annual Power of Pink meet, and it's grown bigger and bigger every year. This year, I want to say we raised over $200,000 for breast cancer, and it's just awesome to be able to, support this wonderful cause and to help women in any way we can.
As we take a look at the graphic in the 2008 rankings, there you see just exactly what Kathy was talking about on the bars. Arkansas struggles 13th in the country. Alabama is 3rd. So there you see the difference there as we go back over to the uneven bars. And next up will be Emily Peacock, the 5-foot senior from San Antonio, Texas. Now, if anyone can get them back on track, it's this young lady.
We have a goal for each meet, and our goal is to not count a fall. And so we're really focused on that each meet. It doesn't really matter who we face off with. It's really exciting being against Alabama, though, especially with the fans and the history of their program. So I think it's going to be a great night, a chance for us to show how far Arkansas has come.
This is the type of gymnast you want in this situation. She's one of the most consistent performers on Arkansas's team. Very nice combination, good form. They're in an absolute must-hit situation. Ooh, a little off on that handstand. She needs a huge dismount landing right here. Very good double layout.
So Emily Peacock steps up and hits one for Arkansas. The 5-foot senior from San Antonio, very strong as we go back to the vault. This is Ricky Lebegern, the sophomore, 4'11" from Annandale, Virginia, and a whole lot of talent. Oh, there's your stunt landing.
Good landing. She got a lot of distance from the horse. I would have liked to see a little bit more height, but the distance was amazing.
Both Coach Patterson was talking about momentum and something like that and how great it can be for us. We look at it one more time.
Alabama's hitting these vaults. They've all done the same vault. She was a little high on the pre-flight, but look at the distance from the horse.
We shift back over to the uneven bars. This is Michelle Stout, the 5'3" sophomore from Enwell, New York. Pressure is on every single one of these ladies now because Arkansas has already had a fall. That will be their score that they will drop.
They finally moved into the 9-8 range with Emily Peacock's score. They need another big one here. They want to drop that 9-2.
Yeah, Peacock with a very nice 9.825.
Not a bad routine. Big step on the landing, unfortunately.
But it was not a fall, so they'll take that. 13th in the country in the uneven bars. Arkansas just wanting to get through here and be strong as we go back over to the vault. This is Kayla Hoffman, 5'1" freshman from Union, New Jersey. Her teammate, Ricky Lebegern, just moments ago, a 9.9 ties the season high, which she had at Kentucky.
That is a beautiful vault. Technically sound. The form was near perfect. Legs straight, toes pointed, very stretched out in that laid out position. That's huge.
And the crowd at Coleman Coliseum really appreciating it. Near capacity here as we look at it one more time.
I mean, this is just pretty. Look at the toe point all the way through the vault. Fought for the landing. Nicely done.
Next on the bars is Casey Jo McGee, the 5'4" sophomore from Eugene, Oregon. knowing the pressure is still there for Arkansas. They cannot afford another fall here on the uneven bars.
This could be one of their biggest routines in the competition. There's nice difficulty in here. That's too bad. Really nice release move in the air, and unfortunately is just not in a position to make the grab. That is a big problem. They're going to have to count a low score. So far they have a 9-2.
Let's look at it again here. Where did this go wrong?
Nice pike position in that release move. You know what? It's probably just a matter of experience. I know this is a relatively new move for her. She's done it in the straddle position. It's more difficult in the pike position and just not in the right position to hang on.
So Casey Jo McGee back on board, the sophomore from Eugene, Oregon. Will try to put that out of her mind and focus on the job at hand.
Really too bad because this routine has so much more variety and a higher level of difficulty. They needed this one for a big score. Nice dismount and a good landing. Boy, too bad she could not hold on to that first release move.
Well, talk about adding the pressure. Now you go over to the vault. This is Morgan Dennis. She is Miss Do Everything for this team. 5'3" out of West Hampton, New Jersey. The sophomore is on board.
She's a nice combination of everything. Beautiful power, finesse. She just does huge gymnastics. Nice amplitude.
Back to the bars. Arkansas's Allison Daniels, the 5'1" sophomore from Kingwood, Texas. Now, would you say the pressure is off her and she doesn't need to press because they're going to have to count a fall?
No, there's always pressure because score is so important this time of the season. They'll be averaging their seasons. Their rankings mean so much. The top 18 qualify into regionals. The top 36 go into regionals. Top 18 are seeded. Scores matter. Every score.
Well, McGee's score comes through as a 9.350, and that is not great.
Solid routine.
Very good.
Routine with beautiful toe point. I have to acknowledge that.
We'll step aside when we come back from Coleman Coliseum. We will see if the tide continues to roll and if Arkansas can regroup when we return to Tuscaloosa. Back inside Coleman Coliseum on the University of Alabama as we take a look at the standings for Arkansas after the bars. They had to drop Samantha Cortez's 9.20. Unfortunately, they had to hold on to the 9.350 of Casey Jo McGee. Now for the vault, Alabama looks very strong. Caitlin White's 9.80 is the score the Crimson Tide dropped, so they are in a very comfortable position as we take a look at the team scores. Arkansas sits at 48.525. Alabama Crimson Tide 49.40. And hello once again, everyone, inside Coleman Coliseum on the University of Alabama campus. Todd Harris along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. And Kathy, Arkansas has dug themselves a hole. How do they get back in this?
Wow. I'm not surprised Alabama's ahead. I am really surprised with the falls. I didn't expect that from Arkansas, especially after talking to Coach Mark Cook. They've been so consistent in practice and in their previous competitions, and their #1 goal is to hit routine, so it's unfortunate they're going to count a fall.
Let's talk about Alabama. How good is this team? Is this national championship caliber material?
Absolutely. I mean, I think they can certainly vie for top 3, especially now they're putting up big scores without stuck landing. So they've got room to improve, and they can add some difficulty throughout the season. I know that they're working on doing that.
So Arkansas now finds themselves on the vault, and Alex LaChance, the 5'6" junior from New Windsor, New York, will try to get them back on track.
That's a good ball. Good start.
Over the bars, that's where you'll find the Alabama Crimson Tide, and Miss Morgan Dennis, the 5'3" sophomore from New Jersey, is up.
This is probably Alabama's best event. They're ranked 3rd in the country on this event. Historically, they've always been very good. Very pretty, good form.
And just how good is Morgan Dennis?
She's very good all-around gymnast. She's got a nice combination of all the qualities you need. Very strong routine.
So for Morgan Dennis on the uneven bars, we go back over to the vault. where Arkansas is set to go.
After that fall on the uneven bars, you can really see her focus. Wow. Beautiful. That is such a difficult vault to land.
Casey Jo McGee, the 5'4" sophomore from Eugene, making up for it. She had that fall on the uneven bars. And that was a score they had to keep because they already had a fall before, so she comes back strong in the vault. On the uneven bars, this is Caitlin White. She is a 5'6" senior from Allen, Texas.
She's a former elite gymnast, 4-year member of the United States national team. Wow, beautiful position. Routine. You can really see them building their momentum routine by routine.
This is Amy DiFilippo, 5'3" sophomore from Torrance, California. Will have to follow that act and get Arkansas back into the momentum game.
Arkansas is doing a great job over here on vault. Bringing it back. Whoa, very low. Oh, she manages to stay on her feet. Unfortunately, she didn't get enough block off the horse to generate enough height or rotation. There's everything she could do to just keep from sitting down at the end. Right there, she's in such a low squat with her body completely back behind her feet.
This is Ricky Lebegern, 4'11" sophomore from Annandale, Virginia. Looked very good in the vault in their first apparatus. Now she moves on to the uneven bars.
Oh, she was in way too close when she caught the bar and had to take an extra swing. That's a significant deduction.
Alabama has opened the door. Can Arkansas walk on through? More from the vault when we return to Tuscaloosa.
Use the energy. Everyone's in pink. They're all cheering for us. We're wearing pink, just like Alabama is. And so, you know, that's a nice way to look at it. And just really focusing one skill at a time, one routine at a time, and every team member involved in the person that's competing, and really keep the energy on our team.
Samantha Cortez now set to go for Arkansas gym backs on the vault. We are back in Tuscaloosa. It's Arkansas taking on the 4th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide.
Nice job. Very nice vault.
So the 5'3" senior responds after that slight deduction on the uneven bars from Alabama. Ricky Lebegern having her problems there, and she comes right back. As you said, Kathy, Arkansas is not going away. Well, here's pressure for a freshman. This is Kayla Hoffman, the freshman, 5'1" from Union, New Jersey. And there's sold-out Coleman Coliseum here. And she is next up on the bars.
She was so good in the handstand. Unfortunately, she had to split her legs to make sure she went the right direction. Beautiful handstand there. She's probably done the best so far of hitting the handstand positions. Almost too well in that one. Nice double layup. Great landing. You'll have to see what the judges do with that little split. She kept her form as she split her legs. You could almost say it was a stylization, but I don't think so.
Well, the
I'll
scores
have to
for
have a
Ricky
look.
Leberger are at 9.375, so they're going to need a big one from her as we go back over the vault. This is Michelle Stout, 5'3" sophomore from Enwell, New York.
Boy, Arkansas on a roll with these landings. Got to hand it to them for that.
The momentum is swinging back to the gym backs from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
They're really fighting hard for these landings. You think about it, you can save a tenth of a point on every single vaulter, just keeping your feet planted, and they're really fighting for those.
Our first look at Olympian Taryn Humphrey now. If Alabama wants to get back on track here, I think this is the young lady to do it.
Beautiful bar worker. Olympian in 2004, 2 Olympic medals. Silver in both the team and on this event, her specialty, the uneven bars.
She's a 5'1" senior from Bates City, Missouri.
Unfortunately, right now she's got a back that has been bothering her. She's only competed twice this season on this event. She's had several elbow surgeries to remove chips. And that's the least of her worries right now. It's the back that's really been giving her trouble. Beautiful bar work.
There you go. That is why she has 2 Olympic medals.
They definitely need her back in the lineup.
So from Taryn Humphrey on the uneven bars, we go back over to the vault. That's where Arkansas is set to go. This is Ashley McPherson. She's a 5'1" sophomore from Springdale, Arkansas. See her coach Renee Cook right behind her, just cheering her on.
Wow, another good landing. And I just can't tell you how difficult those landings are when you're facing away from the horse. You don't see the ground coming up. You just have to have a cat-like kinesthetic awareness.
As we take a look at it one more time.
She does a traditional entry vault, not the round off. Rare to see that these days. And look at her just attack the landing, because it was not a perfect vault in the air, but she pulled off a good landing.
So the final competitor in the bars for Alabama will be Cassie Price. She's a 5'4" sophomore from Plantation, Florida.
Second team All-American on this event. Well, what a great 1-2 punch they have here at Alabama for the uneven bars with Cassie and Taryn Humphrey.
Taryn Humphrey's score coming through. Beautiful. 99 for Humphrey.
Good handstand position. Nice double layup. And an excellent landing. Great job on bars.
So Cassie Price rounds things off nicely in the uneven bars for the Alabama Crimson Tide. A very strong performance for them. We'll be back to Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You are watching Alabama and Arkansas on ESPN2. Welcome back to Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as we finish the second rotation on the bars. Ricky Leberger's 9.375 was dropped for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And on the vault for Arkansas, Amy DiFilippo's 9.375 was dropped. So both teams dropping the same scores. We go to the running team score, 9.7750 for Arkansas, 9.8750. So you're starting to see the difference in Alabama maintaining their lead now. Arkansas has kind of put themselves in a precarious situation because there's no time like the present to make a move.
The only good news is Alabama is on the precarious event, the balance beam. So there's always a chance there for minor deductions, even major mistakes. That's the one thing Alabama cannot give up, is a major break.
One of the Alabama alumni here is volunteer assistant coach Dana Dobransky-Duckworth, who won 2 NCAA championships on balance beam in the early 90s. We spoke with her about how she uses her experience to help today's team.
Balance beam is one of those events where it's repetition over and over again, and reaching toward perfection every time you do it and finding ways to get there. And so, you know, for me, it's more, how do you feel about yourself? Are you confident? Do you believe in what you do? And if you don't, let's change what you're doing so you can. Because when you go out to compete, I try to share with them and explain to them, you need to be on autopilot by the time you're out there competing.
And this is Casey Overton, first on the beam for Alabama.
I always like to describe this event as the easiest to do, the hardest to compete. Certainly has the most room for error, almost impossible to hide small mistakes. They stand out like a sore thumb. It's the one event that all of the top teams know they must master, and master under pressure to vie for a national championship as a team. Nice, strong routine. Little stumble on the landing.
Casey Overton, the 5'2" sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia. From the beam to the floor, this is Ashley McPherson, 5'1" sophomore from Springdale, Arkansas.
Good start for Arkansas. You know, the nice thing about college gymnastics is it allows for so many levels of gymnasts to continue their careers, whether we've seen elite gymnasts who competed in the Olympic Games, the World Championships, go on to compete, and then some of the gymnasts that never competed at a national level actually go to college to get better at their gymnastics and get to compete against some of the best gymnasts that they've seen at the Olympic Games.
And to the beam we go. This is Amanda Montgomery, the 5'5" junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Boy, you're exactly right, though. You notice every slight form break. There's nowhere to hide it.
Not on the beam. Beautiful flexibility. Really shows the full amplitude on her leaps. Another solid routine, very pretty routine.
Amanda Montgomery, very successful at 5'5" from Jacksonville. Gets congratulations from her teammates. From that, we go back over to the floor. Our next competitor from the Gymbacks, Arkansas. Michelle Stout, 5'3" from Enwell, New York. And Michelle Stout concluding her routine on the floor, and looked like she enjoyed it.
Boy, don't they have a good time. You should see the team standing on the sides doing the routine with her.
We'll find out what the judges thought of that routine when we return to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This was Ricky Lebeger, the sophomore from Alabama, on the uneven bars. And if you watch closely, she comes around here, catches her nose on the bar. She would complete the routine. It did require a little bit of ice, but she is now all ready to go. The 4'11" sophomore from Annandale, Virginia, on the beam.
Gymnasts are tough. They might not look it, but these are tough.
I'm not questioning. I agree.
She really fought for that. Nice, clean routine. One slight balance break. Very slight. Good landing.
Ricky Lebeger of Alabama. This is Casey Jo McGee on the floor, 5'4" sophomore from Eugene, Oregon. Casey Jo McGee from Eugene, Oregon, training her webbed feet to come out and be a gym back in Arkansas. And back to the beam. This is Kayla Hoffman for Alabama, the 5'1" freshman from Union, New Jersey.
Kayla is probably the cleanest performer in the competition. Her form is quite impeccable. Oh, that's too bad.
Well, they get to drop one score, but that puts the pressure, of course, on everyone to follow.
It's especially hard to see when something is so picture perfect. But unfortunately, that can't keep you on the balance beam. You also have to be, oh my goodness gracious. Oh.
I think she was thinking about the first fall still.
She's experienced enough to know better, so probably not. I think that was just that was one of those fluke ones where your foot just kind of slips. We've all had days like this at some point.
Well, you know, Dana Dobransky-Duckworth talks about how the girls need to keep their focus on the beam. And you think that was just a lack of it? Dana will have a chat with her afterwards.
Certainly. The first skill that she fell on, that was a technical error. She was off to the side on the takeoff and couldn't square it up. With experience and with just an aggressive nature on the balance beam, you can pull things back on.
Well, she did struggle last week on the beam versus Georgia, got a 9.250. So maybe this is something they need to correct before it gets too far down the line.
Even with the falls, everything else was so pretty and so perfect.
That's frustrating for her. Back to the floor. This is Alex LaChance, a 5'6" junior from New Windsor, New York. So we'll see if Arkansas can seize the momentum.
Out of bounds, unfortunately. That's a 1/10 of a point off. Something you don't like to give up. Arkansas's doing all they can do on floor, hitting routines.
Alex LaChance. Strong showings. We go back to the beam. So Cassie Price will have to regroup the Crimson Tide here on the beam. And she certainly is capable.
Still early enough in the season to be gaining experience like this, competing under pressure. You've got a sold-out arena. And there's always pressure on beam, and it builds as routine to routine to routine. You have to be able to handle that pressure. A lot of coaches play with the lineup. who should go first, second, third. It really changes the dynamics.
Well, she's just a sophomore, but she's showing incredible poise right here. Also a straight A student. Wow. I think they put her in the right spot.
Done. One of the harder dismounts off the balance beam. Pike double back.
So from the beam, we will go back over to the floor. Arkansas will now send out Samantha Cortez, the 5'3" senior from Verona, New Jersey.
The nice thing to see with this team, and Mark told me that they have all of their difficulty in the routines at this point in the season, which is nice. They can really work on hitting the routines, polishing them as the season goes on.
Samantha Cortez. From there, we go back to the beam. This is Morgan Dennis, the 5'3" sophomore from New Jersey.
So layout. Really needs to be straight over the beam. She does it quite well. Oh, only one.
Morgan Dennis. Strong performance by the sophomore. Coach Sarah Patterson has to be happy with that as we go back over to the floor. One of the strongest performers for Arkansas. This is Emily Peacock, 5' senior from San Antonio, Texas.
Look at that face. She is ready to attack this routine. be pleased with these routines. They can't do any better than that. They hit their tumbling, made their landings, entertained the crowd.
Emily Peacock for the Arkansas Gymnastics with a very strong performance on the floor. How will the Crimson Tide respond? Stick around and find out when we return to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You are watching Arkansas take on Alabama in gymnastics. Here are the standings for Alabama after the beam. They will drop Kayla Hoffman's 8.80 disaster. 2 falls there for her, so they are happy to see that score go away. And for Arkansas on the floor, Alex LaChance's 9.60. So if my math serves me correctly, Kathleen, it looks like Arkansas with 1 rotation to go has closed the gap a bit, and they have. A 30-year veteran coach, Sarah Patterson, the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, told us what she hopes for her team tonight.
I want the ladies to go out and enjoy it. I want them to relish that for the second straight weekend, over 15,000 fans are here to cheer them on. I want them to remember this because few athletes get to experience an event like this.
And there is Coach Renee Cook, part of the Cook duo that runs the Arkansas program along with her husband Mark. Samantha Cortez. It comes down to this for the Gymnastics of Arkansas. Their final apparatus in this rotation will be the beam.
You know, Todd, with the exception of the disastrous uneven bars, they've really gotten themselves back together, performed confidently, consistently, and it's all about attacking your routine with a confidence that you're going to hit.
If they can be clean here, they give themselves a shot. They have closed the gap just a little bit on Alabama.
Dismount sequence. Good start.
Good start for Samantha Cortez and the Arkansas Gymnastics as we move over to the floor, and that's where the Alabama Crimson Tide are ready to go. Ricky Lebegern will start things off. Ricky Lebegern keeps the pressure on Arkansas. Find out if they can respond when we return to Tuscaloosa. Back in Alabama, this is Michelle Stout, Enwell, New York's 5'3".
If you compare event to event, routine to routine between Alabama and Arkansas. The big difference is there's a higher level of difficulty on Alabama's side. A little higher level of performance, just in terms of the quality of the choreography and clean gymnastics. But I stress that Arkansas is doing such a great job of coming back after the uneven bars, hitting routines, doing the best that they can do at every single point in the routine. That's huge. A lot to work on, but a lot to be proud of here.
Michelle Stout, the 5'3" sophomore from Enwell, New York. Strong performance on the beam for Arkansas. This is Casey Overton on the floor now for the Crimson Tide. Casey Overton keeping the tide rolling here, hitting all of her marks. Emily Peacock next to go on the beam for Arkansas, talking with Renee Cook, her coach right there. She has really been the leader tonight for Arkansas.
Both by example and in talking to, probably in particular, the younger gymnasts. New experience for many to compete in front of this many people. Huge crowd.
Wow. Senior composure.
Work a little bit on those landings. Boy, great finish. Wow.
Strong performance by Emily Peacock as we go back over to the floor for the Crimson Tide. Caitlin White, the senior from Allen, Texas.
I think it is by far the hardest conference that we have in gymnastics. I guess, what is it, 4 or 5 teams are ranked in the 4 teams are ranked in the top 10 right now, five teams are in the top 10. That's just amazing. And, you know, by the time, Sarah always tells us, by the time we get to, you know, national championship, there's only 2 or 3 teams that are in the top 10 that we haven't seen. So all our competition that we're going to see at nationals, we get that experience to go up against them before the NCAA championship. So.
Oh, that's too bad. Legs just buckled. She couldn't punch into the next skill. And then a step out of bounds.
So we will find out if Amy DiFilippo of Arkansas can answer when we return to Tuscaloosa. Rotation 4 continues here. Amy DiFilippo from Torrance, California, set to go on the beam for Arkansas. Amy DiFilippo did not have the best vault tonight either, so she seems to be struggling just a bit.
Just when I was thinking they were really putting together. This unfortunately is going to be a back to the drawing board when you get back to workout. Figure this out. Got to be able to handle these routines under pressure.
They talked about not having to count a fall, one of their goals, and a beautiful dismount, but fortunately tonight that has not been the case for the Gymbacks. Cassie Price is set to go for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And their sellout crowd here at Coleman Coliseum. Now you see the score for Caitlin White at 9.250. They're hoping they can just throw that out and keep the high scores rolling in.
doesn't make you want to get up and dance.
Cassie Price has everyone in Coleman Coliseum excited tonight. This is Stacy Bartlett of Tualatin, Oregon, 5'2". This is the first event she's competing in tonight, so she comes out a little cool.
Nicely done. Pretty flexibility.
Mark and Renee Cook have gone all over the country to recruit, haven't they? Two from Oregon, from California, Jersey, California, Texas, everywhere.
I like the way he describes his team. Unlike some of the top teams in the country, very good routine. That can recruit from the elite levels. They can recruit Olympians and World Championship team members and former national team members. He can't yet. He gets great, hard-working gymnasts who are still on their way up, excited to be there, learn new gymnastics. He's having a great time with them.
And the same for the Pattersons. They do quite a nice job of recruiting, going to South Carolina, New Jersey, Missouri, Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, all over the country. And this is Kayla Hoffman now on the floor.
So far, this has been the highest level of difficulty in the competition. The cleanest gymnastics, just gorgeous.
When we return to Tuscaloosa, the final routines of the meet when we come back. Back inside Coleman Coliseum here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We're down to the final two routines. This is Casey Jo McGee, the 5'4" sophomore from Eugene, Oregon. As we mentioned, Coach Mark and Renee Cook going all across the country to bring the best to Arkansas. Casey Jo's had a pretty good night so far.
The Cooks have done a great job with this program. They made it to the national championships. Beautiful. Round off layout, step out. They made it to the national championships in 2006, upsetting UCLA at the regionals. A gorgeous double turn. This is a nice routine. And they'd like to get back there. One of the best routines in the competition. Great job if she can stick the landing. Very nicely done.
A good way to end Arkansas's evening. Casey Joe McGee from Eugene, Oregon, doing a great job for the Gymbacks. That takes us to our final competitor of the night. We go to the floor, and what a nice way to end things with Morgan Dennis from Alabama.
Breathtaking. It was beautiful.
Well, she is the returning 2007 floor exercise champion in the NCAA, so do you expect any less?
Huge difficulty. Short landing at the end. The first two passes were stunning. They were so big.
So Morgan Dennis wraps things up on the floor for the Crimson Tide in stunning fashion.
This was just beautiful. I mean, an elegant double layout, if you can be elegant in tumbling, because she's so powerful. But look at the stretch. Perfect position. I mean, she finishes it almost head high.
So on the beam for Arkansas, they dropped the score of Amy DiFilippo. Her 9.275 goes away, and on the floor, Alabama drops the score of Caitlin White, a 9.150, but Morgan Dennis shows up large with a 9.725. She's standing by with our Kathy Johnson-Clark.
Morgan, great competition. I think I could have walked underneath your double layout. Tell me what it's like competing in front of 15,000 people, all in pink.
It's amazing. I'm so glad that we're able to just have fun out here at this meet and just do it for such a great cause. Sarah's tried so hard to get the awareness out there, and I think it's amazing that we're able to put this production on. I just love competing and everything, and just being in front of our home crowd makes it that much better. I love it.
Where do you think you and your team stand with nationals coming up?
Right now we're making improvements every week. We still have some steps to make, but I think by the time we get to the end of the season, if we just pace ourselves right, stay healthy, we'll be right up there with #1 teams.
Well, great job tonight. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy. There you see the final score. Alabama with a 196.775. They are triumphant over Arkansas. On behalf of my colleague, Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Today's event produced by CONCOM in association with ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.